Sangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangolang Hayate Girim Yat Kripatamahang Vande Sri Gurundina Tarinam Guru Gaura Gandharva Govindang Gringanai Saha Vande Prasadato Yesham Savaramba Subankara Gauravag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam Gauravaibavam Gaura Sankirtanomatam Gaura Karunya Sundaram Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavratam Nityam Nomi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai Srimad Prabhu Padamboja Madhupebhyo Namo Namaha Inindantam Kulakotkarena Bhikasam Nipa Prasunachavim Prodrikritva Bhujadvayam Hari Hari Ituchai Vedantam Muhu Nrityantam Drutamasru Nirjara Chaye Sinchantam Urvitalam Gayantam Nija Parasadaya Parivratam Shri Gaura Chandram Nama Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himavadivyachcha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Adadana Sridam Dantaya Idam Jache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Boja Duli Sham Janma Janmani Hare Krishna. Today is the appearance of Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who Guru has described. He's the pioneer of Mahaprabhu's Krishna Bhakti movement. Before the Supreme Lord appears, the Guru Varga appears. And that means, in this context, mother, father, and the Guru's superiors. Until recently we celebrated Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Madhavendra Puri. And we're told Advaita is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, as are Nityananda, Paramananda Puri, Haridas Thakur, and others. When Madhavendra Puri was traveling in service to Gopal, it's mentioned that he stopped in Shantipur, and there he initiated Advaita Acharya. So, Advaita Acharya, he descended first. So said, the pioneer. He's the source of the descent of all of them. And serving the situation, seeing the people suffering for want of Krishna consciousness, invoked the compassionate heart of Advaita Acharya to call for the descent of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that Advaita Acharya we find in the introductory section of Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. What does it say? First, the slokas in praise of Mahaprabhu, then Nityananda Prabhu, then Advaita Acharya. It says, Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Ya Srijatyara Tasavataram Evayam Advaita Acharyam Ishvara. Who is this Advaita Acharya? None other than the Mahavishnu avatar. Right? And What is the position of Mahavishnu? Karanarnava. He is the cause and the source of enabling, manifesting the world of misconception. Why do that? To accommodate all the souls who are exercising their free will, ignoring Krishna and forgetfulness of Krishna, and also establishing a channel where all the avatars may descend here for their deliverance. So if we think sequentially, what is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have Krishna, and Krishna's first, other than himself, Baladev. Right. Then we're told Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradumna, Aniruddha, the first quadruple expansion. Then the second quadruple expansion. Then we're told the Purusha avatars, which means Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kiradakshaya Vishnu. So from Mahavishnu, we hear in the Brahma Samhita, is that? Jivanti Loma Vilija Jagadandanata. He's lying in Yoga Nidra in the causal ocean, and so many universes are coming out of the pores of his body. It looks like bubbles in the causal ocean. So they're Jagadanda, means they're like egg-like, golden, and they grow, to become, like a billion by a billion of whatever measurement you want to put. Very large. But so he's lying there, and all these universes are coming out of his divine form. Right? And so that's Advaita Acharya's day job, is as Mahavishnu, right? Generating innumerable universes, and then entering into each universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. We're told at the bottom of each universe is the Garbhodak ocean. There, lying is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and from his navel comes a lotus flower that opens, and there is Brahma, the creator, the first living being. Guru Maharaj said, how to understand this? Like, you have the president, the governor, the mayor, or the district magistrate. Right? So in this kind of, Mahavishnu is like the original, then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu within each universe. And then, when so many jiva souls will appear, within the heart of every jiva is further expansion, Kiradakshaya Vishnu / Paramatma. Right? So, what is our connection with Advaita Acharya? It may be more intimate than we think at first glance. So, that Mahavishnu, Karanarnava, he cannot have any direct contact with Maya. Right? He's Vishnu Tattva. If we see, in the what is described in the beginning of Charitamrita means Mahaprabhu, Krishna, Balaram, Nityananda, and then Advaita. So beginning with these Vishnu Tattva. Then later will come Gadadhar Srivas. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupas Rupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. So Advaita, how is his avatar described? The Bhakta avatar. He's the avatar of devotion. As we hear Kaviraj Goswami describe elsewhere, Nityananda Prabhu is the Kripa avatar. He's the mercy avatar. Bhakta avatar, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who's, again, Mahavishnu. So that as Mahavishnu, So all these universes have been created. But how to populate them with jivas, with jiva souls, who want to exercise their independence and enjoying propensity independently of Krishna, who's happiness personified, joy personified. So what kind of happiness or joy are you going to get? The poet Vidyapati says, like a drop of water in the desert. And that may be being generous. So Mahavishnu, being Vishnu Tattva, can have any direct contact with Maya. So how perfectly this is described. And it will help us understand the relationship between Mahavishnu and Shiva. Because we hear Advaita Acharya described variously as Mahavishnu or Sadashiva. So Sadashiva means in the pure conception world, and this is the misconceived world. So he's described, lying in yoga nidra, this type of, spiritual resting condition, with his eyes half closed, right? And we're told, and Maya is off to the side from the peripheral glance of Mahavishnu, right? Like, not even direct. See how perfectly it is being described. Not in front, no, in the periphery. So it's taking us to the, show the most minimal amount of consideration. So from the peripheral glance, that glance is personified as Shambhu, right? And the Brahma Samhita says, what? Talingam Bhagavan Shambhu. And then, so Shambhu, Shiva in this context is the sum total of all the jiva souls. And they are impregnated by the personified glance of Mahavishnu as Shambhu. They're impregnated into the material energy. And from, like the mother supplies the body, then so many different life forms are supplied. And 14 levels of misconception. Right? That's why we have 14 planetary systems. There's what the universe or the world might be described as from an objective point of view. Right, we hear a trillion stars, planets, etc. Right? But what is the, and they have a way of grading them, of expressing the gradation. But really, it is the misconceived world, the world of misconception. So the gradation is based on from gross to subtle levels of illusion. Right? So that in the bottom of the universe, the Garbhodak ocean, there is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. From the lotus navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu appears a lotus flower that opens, and there we find Brahma. Right? Who, as we told recently on the Saraswati Vasant Panchami, in the time of Saraswati Puja, that he's there, and we're told he's thinking, like, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I doing seated on top of this giant lotus flower? And here's ta-pa, like tapa, tapasya. He gets the inspiration to engage in tapasya, which Srila Prabhupada describes as voluntarily inconveniencing oneself for the sake of spiritual realization. So, and at a particular point, we hear in the Brahma Samhita that Dibya Saraswati, right, Shuddha Saraswati of the spiritual world, there's no material world yet, so must be, that she initiates Brahma with this Gayatri. Krishnaya, Madan Mohan, Govindaya, Govinda, Gopi Janabal, Gopinath. And meditating upon this mantram, Brahma, in the Brahma Samhita it says, he realizes that he's an eternal maidservant of Krishna. That's why we were telling the other day. The gist of these mantrams is Gopi Bhav, Gopi Dasyam, Radha Dasyam, as extracted by Srila Guru Maharaj in his Gayatri. Bhargo Bhai Vrishabhanu Jatma Bhivavai Karadana Sri Puram. Right? So Brahma, inconceivably, at this moment, there's no creation. He's about to create. In Brahma Samhita, he says, at that point I realized I'm an eternal maidservant of Krishna. So again, then what am I doing here? And what service, necessity is expected from me? And he says, so in the explanations in the Brahma Samhita from Jiva Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and saying, everything, all the details of that maid-servant identity were not revealed at this time. But some understanding of that came to him, and he realized the matter at hand was about creation. Right? And so he creates the universe with, as we call it, 14 varieties of planetary systems. It's the world of misconception. The objective point of view, science tells us there's a trillion stars. The objective world is virtually unlimited. And they say, and within that trillion stars, there's this one planet, the Earth planet, that has life. And on that Earth planet, there are beings that possess consciousness. So then when they say, oh, so non-conscious, objective reality is virtually unlimited, and there's this smattering, consciousness on this one planet out of the trillion. Isn't that an amazing thing? Right? Only in this one place, there's a little sprinkling of consciousness in these different living beings, and if you follow the gradation, they appear to be searching for happiness in one form or another, and they and rarely, it's a rare achievement for them. So particularly the human beings who are the the epitome of conscious beings, they're the conscious elite. Right? If they get lucky on a good day, they experience a drop of happiness. Back to Vidyapati and the drop of water in the desert. So the desert objective world is virtually unlimited. There's this sprinkling of conscious beings, and if they get lucky on a good day, they experience a drop of happiness. Right? What a bleak scenario. Right? Fortunately for us, the inverse is true. We're told this is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So that, just as we told, Tad Lingam Bhagavan Shambhu, that interaction between Shiva and Maya is a perverted reflection of, and Brahma Samhita says, of Krishna's procreative tendency. Right? So that, as Auden said, we are comprised of eros and dust. Right? And again, we're being told, the dust aspect is virtually unlimited. Right? So, but if this is in fact a perverted reflection, as described in Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, and elsewhere, then Guru Maharaj's subjective evolution enters with the whole objective world is the least aspect, not the virtually unlimited aspect. It's the least aspect, like an iceberg floating in an ocean of consciousness. So consciousness is vast, right? And the object of consciousness, what consciousness enables us to feel, pleasure or happiness, that is the ultimate unlimited substance, right? That is personified in the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Right? The central conception of the Absolute is happiness, love, affection, ecstasy personified, right? But in human-like proportion. Krishnera Jateka Kela Sarvat Naralila Narvaputara Swarup Gopa Vesh Venukar Navakishore Nadavar Naralila Hoy Anurup Bayam Ditiya Binibeshi Tatshadi Shadape Tashya Viparyayoshmati. But in forgetfulness of that, ignoring Krishna, we individual jiva souls are searching for happiness. Right? Substitutes for Krishna. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatena nirmalam hrishikesha hrishikena sevanam bhakti ruchate. Here, sometimes upadi is translated substitute. So searching for substitutes for actual happiness, ecstasy personified, leads to the creation and manifestation of this world. So Mahavishnu avatar, Advaita Acharya, he descends into that very world. We told before, Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kiradakshay Vishnu, Paramatma. You would think he's doing enough. He descends into this world at this particular time as Advaita Acharya, and he sees the unfortunate suffering condition of the people of the time, and he is contemplating a way to put an end to their suffering. We're told that, what is it? Oh, and interestingly, in this section of the Chaitanya Charitamritam, the verse that is given is the same verse that goes back to Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Tam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase shutekshita pato nanunata pungsang. It's saying that the Lord reciprocates, he appears on the heart of the devotee according to that devotional heart. In other words, how they're expressing their heart's inner necessity, he reciprocates that. He appears in that way. And the reason I mention that is because Advaita Acharya, in this particular context, his heart, paradukkha dukhi, his only unhappiness is seeing the suffering of others. So his heart is expressing toward Krishna that come in your most merciful form imaginable, in your greatest magnanimous aspect, because I see the condition of these people. It will require nothing less than that, for you to come in your most merciful manifestation. And that should be known to Advaita, right? And he knows how to get to the heart of Krishna. So what is it? Tulasi dalamatrena jalasha chulakena ba vikrinite tanam atmanam swam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. We know he's bhaktavatsala. He's on account of his love and affection for his devotees. Guru Maharaj, the word I was searching for previously, as Guru Maharaj said, he's helpless. It's one thing to say he loses his independence, or in their presence he acquiesces to their desires. Guru Maharaj said, according to the degree of devotion, And here we can understand how such a high level expressed by Advaita Acharya, the Lord becomes helpless in the presence of such devotion and offers himself fully. And knowing the way to the heart of Krishna, one tulsi leaf, like patram pushpam palam toyam, and Ganga Jal. Right? No, but I've heard there were 16 items of worship, and some say 64, some say they are innumerable, and who can do that? You can assemble all these things, and your attempts to propitiate the Lord. Advaita Acharya, with his palms, his lotus palms, full of Ganga Jal and some Tulsi Manjaris, right? There, with that, the incomparable wealth that is within his palms, Krishna Prem personified with the Tulsi Manjaris, he is crying out for Krishna to descend. Right? And that Krishna who realizes, oh, the time has come for the descent of the Yuga avatar, and he will descend with his Nam Sankirtan and its supreme disinfecting potency, right? Taking the name of Krishna, right? But he realizes also his own internal desire to experience the heart position of Srimati Radharani, Radha Bhava Subolita Nomi Krishna Surupam. So these two things combine. But it is at answering the call of Advaita Acharya that he agrees to descend. Right? In one sense, it's an excuse for his internal purpose, but he's also unlimitedly merciful. Namo Mahavadanaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Tishe Namah. And Srila Guru Maharaj liked to quote this Bengali song. So the word puggle means crazy. And then when someone's like, oh, the guy's puggle, he's crazy. So in this song it says, teen puggle, three puggles, three crazy men have come and destroyed Navadvip. They've driven Navadvip crazy, these three crazy people. And who are they? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. They're the teen puggles. And when Brahma, Haridas Thakur, you read in Chaitanya Bhagavat, the pastimes of Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur before Mahaprabhu begins the Nam Sankirtan movement. They're also active. Right? So one puggle, so Brahma represented Brahma Haridas. Right? Shiva, Sadashiva, here is Advaita Acharya. And Vishnu, here is Mahaprabhu. And where they come to Navadvip, here symbolically, the place that represents ultimately logic, rationale, reason. And they're causing everyone to lose their mind. So Guru Maharaj says in that song, the poet is saying like, if I could lose my mind in this way, how happy I would be. Right? That's why I've said various times, people say, have you lost, in pursuit of Krishna consciousness, when people say, have you lost your mind? Say, I'm trying. Lord knows I'm trying. Why? Because Saraswati Thakur says, the mind is an evil guardian. Right? Trying to plunder the wealth of Jiva. Her wealth lies in her service prospect, her faith, her ability to offer herself in service to the upper world, and the mind as an evil guardian through distraction and trying to rivet one to the mundane as a source of fulfillment. So the three puggles, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Hare Krishna. So there may be four. So Hare Krishna, Dandavat. The fourth puggle has arrived. Yeah. And when I say that's a compliment, because Mahaprabhu will say to Ramananda, what is that? Ek puggle to me dvitiya. I'm puggle number one and you're puggle number two. Right? Yani sa sarvabhutanam pasyam jagrati samyami. Because the pursuit of Krishna consciousness in the objective world appears to be madness. But for those who are Krishna conscious, the inverse. So that Advaita Acharya, he's invoked the appearance of Mahaprabhu and assembled there Sri Sita Advaita Roy Malini Sri Vasajoy Jaya Chandra Shekhara Acharya as groomers. That's why all these names are there in the song. There's a particular sequence to be observed or noted with regard to these things. So, what do you say? When Advaita Acharya hears of remember, he and Haridas Thakur are celebrating the appearance of Mahaprabhu. They can understand that has come. They're engaged in Nam Sankirtan. And he goes to visit Sachi Mata's house to see the birth of the new baby, as people do. Right? Whenever there's a baby, there's this joyous celebration, and people want to come and see the baby and bring gifts, and everything has its representation in the original. Right? So it's very sweet. Sita Thakurani, and what she calls the baby Nimai, because neem tree, born beneath the neem tree, but neem is said to keep away ghosts and inauspiciousness, right? And coming with so many gifts and everything. But Advaita Acharya, remember, the Mahavishnu avatar walking among us as Sri Advaita. He's Advaita means he's none different than Krishna. Everything. Krishna, Balaram, Mahavishnu in that sequence, more or less. So, and Acharya, he's showing also, he's the Bhakta avatar. He's showing how to dedicate yourself exclusively to the lotus feet of Gauranga. He knows where the entrance to Vrindavan is, the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Krishna Lila, Gaur Lila to Krishna Lila. But his reputation is such that, like we see, the deities are here, Guru, Gauranga, Radha Govinda Sundarju, and Giriraj Govardhan. And we know sometimes people have deities in their house, especially those who have been to India have seen this. And in some cases we're astonished to see some, like I call him Amiya Kishore Prabhu, Mr. Sound. Deities, hundreds of years, and Gurudev's deities from the time of Nityananda, and so sometimes you're astonished, even in someone's house, to find some extraordinary deity of Krishna, and other times, you're wondering what's going on here. But that may be our position. In the case of Advaita Acharya, we're told, if he gave dandavats in front of a deity that was not a legitimate deity, it would shatter. Think about that. He gives dandavats and it goes then people can think, I guess our devotion is in question. Right? So Advaita Acharya comes to the house of Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra, and there's the baby, and Sachi Mata goes, Acharya, what are you doing? He's giving dandavats to the baby, that he should be giving blessings, right? He's in the Guru Varga section. He should come and bless the baby. Instead, he's giving Shastanga dandavats to a baby. And Sachi Mata is saying, oh my God, this is not good for my child. He'll get a big head, get a big ego. He's God himself. And the Mahavishnu avatar is giving dandavats. And how strong is Vatsalya Rasa? For her to think, this is not good for my child. I won't tolerate this in my house. You're in my house? This is inappropriate. Sachi Mata can chastise the Mahavishnu avatar, Sadashiva. There's a world where that's possible. There's a world where Yashoda will take the dust from sadhus and sprinkle it on Krishna's head for his benefit also. So, but then they see what happens, because she's thinking like, oh my God, what will be the result? She knows the reputation of Advaita. And remember, she's a Jnana Shunya Bhakta to the extreme. So it's just her child, and he's got this reputation. She's worried. And what does the baby Nimai do? While Advaita is giving Dandavat, his lotus feet goes and steps on the head of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita is supremely happy about that. Right? That is so beautiful, right, to conceive. We generally think that the majestic aspect, the Aishwarya aspect of these is somehow superior or awe-inducing. But transcending that, see how Mahavishnu is playing in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu so sweetly, these interactions. That is really heart-swallowing, heart-devouring. To know they can behave like this with each other. It's so sweet, irresistibly sweet. But as time goes on, Nimai is growing up, young boy, young man, he's showing so much respect to Advaita as Guru Varga and superior, and that really bothers Advaita Acharya because he knows who Nimai Pandit is, but we can say, but look who he is. But still, how deep is devotion that's intolerable to him? Right? From another point of view, you think, oh, it's Mahavishnu, it's okay, right? Not for him. This is like intolerable to him to see, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Anadir Govinda, the original supreme personality of Godhead, appearing in this way in Gaura Leela as Nimai Pandit and showing so much respect and honor to him. And he knows that socially that is necessary, and anything other than that would be to violate the norms of society and give people the wrong idea, but still it's bothering him. And he sees in some instances that Mahaprabhu is chastising other devotees severely, to the extreme. And that has awakened a hankering in his heart for that type of a treatment, because he's thinking, that's the sign of real love and affection. When he can just forget all the societal norms and just express some extreme emotion. That he wants. So he gives classes. Remember Bishwarup, Nimai Pandit's brother, used to go to Advaita's Gita classes, and Sachi Mata felt in those classes that awakened the extreme renunciation in him, that he took sannyas and left home, and she never saw him again. So again, as Leela would have it, she thought offensively toward Advaita. That was later forgiven in the Mahaprakash, But so Advaita Acharya starts preaching Mayavad in his classes. and saying devotion is a secondary thing, a lower thing, and really this is the substantial view. And when word comes to Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu who will say, Mayavadi Bhasha Shunile Hoy Sarvanash, just hearing Mayavad will destroy you. Right? Those words come from the central conception of the Absolute. How, what a poisonous, virulent misconception it is. So when he hears that, he and Nityananda jump in the Ganga and they're madly swimming towards Shantipur. And he arrives in Shantipur wet from having just been, he's like, Advaita Acharya, what are you doing? And then he starts beating Advaita in front of Sita Thakurani. And she's like, oh no. And if you think of the whole history, it's even more shocking. And Advaita's in ecstasy being beat by Nimai Pandit. And then Nimai Pandit is like, oh, I've been tricked by Advaita. So, Sri Krishna Karshinichasa, devotion is measured where it gets the upper hand, where the devotee, so he made Nimai Pandit abuse him in that way, and that was his happiness. And that Advaita, we heard recently, remember this day is called Makari Saptami. Remember, Panchami was a couple days back. This is the Makari, according to Guru Maharaj, Makari Saptami. And that has some other significance, but that Advaita Acharya appears on this day is significant enough for us. And that same Advaita Acharya who, when Mahaprabhu, having taken sannyas, is wandering in divine madness in a childlike state and deceived by Nityananda into thinking he's bathed in the Jamuna on the outskirts of Vrindavan. But that Ganga, we're told the western part of the Ganga can be taken to be Jamuna. So the cleverness of Nityananda Prabhu. Now, when Mahaprabhu was offering so many prayers to Jamuna and coming out and wet clothes and seeing Advaita waiting there with dry cloth, sannyas vesh, bahirvasanutariya, and then gradually, Advaita, how did you know I was in Vrindavan? Advaita, how did I know? Wherever you are is Vrindavan. Come on. And then he's like, oh, Nityananda, I've been deceived by Nitai. Sweet deception. And he takes him to Shantipur, calls Mother Sachi, she comes, puts an end to her fasting at the behest of Nityananda, cook for Nityananda, go to Shantipur, cook for Gaur and Nityananda. And they're having their wonderful Nam Sankirtan. And we're told in that evening, after they feast and rest, and then again have their their Prem Sankirtan in the evening, Advaita starts singing the song of Vidyapati. And how high this is, we can only, I'd say, what's the word? Infer, the word, we can understand by, behind closed doors in the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes, Radha Bhava Duti Subha, plunging the depths of Radha Bhav, day and night for the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes in Puri and the Gangbir in the company of Ramananda and Srup Damodar. And what is the subject matter? Gita Govinda, as we heard recently of Jayadev, Jagannath Ballabha Natak of Ramananda, Krishna Karnamritam of Bilva Mangal Thakur, Krishna nectar for the ear. Right? And the songs of Chandidas and Vidyapati. And in Charitamritam, a sprinkling of something from Karnamritam, a couple of slokas, Jagannath Ballabha Natak, right? A few slokas from Gita Govinda, and virtually nothing from Chandidas and Vidyapati. That tells us something about the nature of those songs. Gurudev mercifully gave a little bit from each place. But here, we're told, in that evening, when they're singing, that Advaita Acharya, he's singing this song of Vidyapati called Mathura Viraha. When Krishna's gone to Mathura and subsequently Dwarka, the intensity of separation is reaching its zenith point. Baihe Bishajalahoy Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premier Advaita Charit. And the wonderfully astonishing quality characteristic of Krishna Prem is it achieves its greatest expression, its ultimate, highest expression when the greatest depth of separation is reached. So that region of the heart, the premic heart, yields the most superior type of Krishna Prem. And when expressed from the heart of Srimati Radharani, that means Radha, Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakurani. And that's the internal reason for the descent of Mahaprabhu. So, Advaita Acharya singing this song that is attributed to Srimati Radharani, to Krishna's return. So we hear Kurukshetra, separation, zenith point, the heart is reaching ultimate breaking point and yielding the most superior type of Krishna Prem. This song, how happy that Krishna's returned. So it's saying, today, how happy, what can I say? Who can I tell and what can I say? That Madhava is again in my house. Madhava means Krishna. So that we're told Mathura Viraha is a song of separation from the heart, the divine heart of Srimati Radharani. That is being sung by Advaita Acharyas. They're singing and dancing. How beautiful is that? Right? Her sentiments coming from Advaita, also, remember, Madhavendra Puri, Nityananda, Advaita, Paramananda Puri, this current. Remember, what Madhavendra, when we're told no fourth, it means this current is there in that line and subsequently Rupanuga line. So, Advaita singing this and saying, for so long, you were bluffing me and concealing yourself, but now I've got you where I want you. And how can I express my happiness that Madhava has appeared in my house today? And in singing these lines, then Mahaprabhu's ecstasy cannot be contained, and Srila Prabhupada's Charitamrita, it says, hearing this, and Mukunda singing as well, and Advaita Bhavan, that Mahaprabhu's mind just shatters, and his ecstasy is uncontrollable. That's what Guru Maharaj calls a direct hit in a soft sentiment, deep within the heart's core of no less than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And that Advaita, the pioneer of the Nam Sankirtan movement and the appearance of Mahaprabhu, Bahiranga Sangikori, Nama Sankirtan, the Pancha Tattva, that Nindantam Pulakot Karena Bikasam Sloka, we quote from Prabodhananda Gurudev, when he saw the painting of the Pancha Tattva, he said, that sloka, it is expressing this. So we have Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur, and all the devotees engaged in Nam Sankirtan, which, as Guruma said, has the highest disinfecting, it's disinfecting the environment. That we should not think that the name Krishna Nam is, and in fact, it's one of the offenses, Das Nam Aparad, to think that anything is comparable to the purifying power of the holy name of Krishna. That is, it's not just one of many things that will have this effect. It is the supreme, has the supreme disinfecting quality. And Guru Maharaj explained that when a patient's condition is hopeless, right? When you've tried every known form of treatment and without success, so they've reached this condition of abject hopelessness, then you bring out the supreme medicine. In other words, if this doesn't work, nothing works. That's what Krishna Nam Sankirtan is. It's the supremely purifying, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Sreya Kairava Chandraka Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Punam Ritam Asvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Right? So, Advaita Acharya, very happy seeing Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan liberating so many souls. When Mahaprabhu is dancing, Ganga-like streams of tears are shooting out of his eyes, drenching the participants. They're becoming filled with Krishna Prem. So, but Mahaprabhu still nurturing this inner desire. That is his public service, but his private life, his inner desire is reaching a point where he cannot suppress that anymore in favor and consideration of any other thing. So one day, Advaita Acharya writes a poem to Mahaprabhu, what Guru Maharaj called the mystic poem. And we should say before that if we want to understand the position of Advaita Acharya, then we have to look to Mahaprabhu himself. What does he think? So sometimes he asked devotees, he'd say and what do you think about my dear Advaita? And one devotee said, I think like Prahlad or Sukadev. He thought he's offering some extreme glorification by saying, Prahlad, Sukadev, and Mahaprabhu said, Advaita, you compare to their children. Prahlad and Sukadev, my Advaita. So that Advaita who caused him to descend, he brought Mahaprabhu in this world. We see each time there's some particular devotee who we can say legitimately gifted Mahaprabhu to the world. We told the other day, Vishnu Priya Devi, from the imperial throne of the Premic heart of Vishnu Priya Devi, she gifted Mahaprabhu to the world. Sachi Mata gave Mahaprabhu to the world. He said, whatever my mother says, I will do. And she said, oh, I want you to be with me, but then people will find fault with you, so stay in Puri. But it would be nice if you would come back and just do your Nam Sankirtan with Nityananda and Gadadhar and Advaita. But, so he's her gift to the world. Nitai Koruna Have Braje Radha Krishna, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, Nityananda's gifts, each Guru's gift. Right? Those who bring us connection with the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga. So, all the devotees, but here, particularly Advaita, Mahaprabhu said, answering the call of Advaita, I descended in this world. then this poem comes where, in an encrypted way, Advaita is saying that, we have market saturation, right, in modern terms. The market's been saturated. And what is the market? Everyone, what we told initially about losing our minds, becoming mad, saying the market for this divine madness has been saturated. Everybody's mad now. Everybody's been infected with your divine madness. You've infused the divine madness of Krishna Prem into everyone. There's total market saturation. So you're free now. And by the way, tell him that a madman brings this to his ear. He is mad. You made me mad. We're all gone mad. Everybody's mad. And you're free now. And Mahaprabhu reading this poem saying to Swarup Damodar, what does it mean? Right? What is how would you interpret this poetry of Advaita? And Swarup Damodar, who knows everything, Swarupam, Sri Gauranamatam, Swarupa Viditam, right? Swarupam Bibranam Jagataturyam, the incomparable Swarup Damodar, Mahaprabhu Dutiya Kalevar, Mahaprabhu II. What does he say? I don't know. I can't, it's beyond me. He doesn't want to hear, because there's some hint of the pastimes going toward the final portion. So he's saying, it's mystifying. And Mahaprabhu said, I think that Advaita Acharya, he's one of those people who, we've all seen this, seen in Bengal, they make a deity for some religious festival, and they invoke the deity, and then they go on for some time, few days festival, and at the end of the festival, we see they plunge the deity into the pond, and the deity, gradually, what is the word? Huh? Dissolves. Yes, and we've seen that. And that's what he's saying. So what does he mean to say? He brought me down. So he brought the deity for some purpose. What was that purpose? To liberate everyone, to relieve them from all their suffering, to give them Krishna Prem. And now it's been achieved, and he doesn't need the deity anymore. But what it means is he's giving release to him that has been achieved, and now your private life behind the closed doors in the Gangbira with Swarup and Ramananda, you can plunge the depths of Radha Bhav for the rest of your manifest pastimes. And it's mentioned in that section of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam that from that day forward, Mahaprabhu's Radha Bhavic ecstasy doubled, just exponentially. Like, what do we call it? That magnitude, exponential magnitude. And given there is a beautiful verse from Rupa Goswami, and you see the quality of what he's expressing. Kwa Nanda Kula Chandrama, Kwa Shiki Chandra Kalankriti, Kwa Mundra Murali Rava, Kwa Nu Surrender Nila Duti, Kwa Rasa Rasa Tandivi, Kwa Jiva Saki Rakoshidi, Nidir Mama Suhritama, Ha Banta Ka Bata Hanta Ha Digvidim. It says very beautifully, Kwa Nandra Kula Chandrama. Where is the moon that appeared in the ocean, from the ocean of the Nandakul, the dynasty of Nanda Maharaj? Like the ocean comes out of the Kir Sagar, and then he's saying, where's the moon that came out of the ocean of the dynasty of Nanda Maharaj? And that moon, what is he? Nanda Kula Chandra, Siki Chandra Kalankriti. He wears the peacock feather as an ornament. Mandra Muralirava. And from his flute comes this deep sound that captures your heart and makes you respond, and ecstatic trembling. Mandra Muralirava. Jiva Saki Rakoshidi. Who's the medicine for the suffering life? Mandra. Nila Duty. Nila Duty means the shining blue sapphire. That's how this is Rupa Goswami. And Kwa Rasa Rasa Tandavi. Where is the rasa of the rasa dance? We're talking about saying Kwa Rasa Rasa Tandavi. Where's the rasa of the rasa dance? Who's the rasa of the rasa dance? Kwa Saki Jiva Rakoshidi. Oh, my dear friend, where is that medicine? He's the medicine that will save my suffering existence. Nidir Mama Suhritama. Suhritama means dear friend. Kwa Bhatta Hanta Hag Digvitan. And in whose absence I'm cursed to live a life in separation from him. These type of verses start coming out of Mahaprabhu. Therefore, they have to go indoors and just be in the company of Lalita Vishaka, Swarup Damodar, Ramananda, behind closed doors for the last 12 years.
Does the Bhakti Acharya continue with Mahaprabhu's participation?
Yes.
Every year?
I believe he still comes out, but it's becoming not manageable. And that's why on the one, as Gurudev said, we do not hear of the Vishnu Tattva. There's no Tirobhav for them. But Gurudev told in Koi Kali, remember, encrypted almost, and the Ratyatra says, Ratyatra of Jagannath, and then you look secondary, disappearance of Swarup Damodar. So Gurudev is saying, Swarup Damodar cannot live without Mahaprabhu. So then some Ratyatra one time comes, then we can understand something without saying it. If that is the disappearance day of Swarup Damodar, and that time not finding. Remember, so many times not finding, but they go in search and find. But if this time not, and some say, gone to the ocean, merged into Jagannath, many different things. Guru Maharaj said, all are possible. He can show many different things. But we're trying to keep this Advaita-centric. Hare Krishna. So it was, but what I find intriguing is that Mahaprabhu waiting for release from Advaita. If Advaita Acharya will say, Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, you've done the desired seva. Now you are free for your internal culture, which is the internal reason for your descent in this world. Wait, how supremely humble that is for him to wait for the sanction from Advaita Acharya. Shows the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how prominent is Advaita Acharya in the heart of Sri Chaitanya Dev. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Advaita Acharya Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Saterasata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Bhad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Acharya. Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghuna. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghuna. Echai Gochai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha hoite Vignanash Abhishta Puran. Echai Gochai Dharmui Tarodas. Kansabada Padarenu Moda Panchagram. Kandara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas. Janome more abhilas. Echai Gochai Jabe Braje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyash. Hari Nam Sankirtan Koi Narottamadan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jai Shri Mahavishnu Avatar Advaita Acharya Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Shri Sita Thakurani Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Satarasata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Shantipur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Dumuni Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tosi Devi Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishva Varinya. Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimala Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Sri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Seva Vrinda Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Advaita Acharya Mahavishnu Avatar Advaita Acharya Prabhu Avirbhav Mahamahotsavatiti Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Have a contest.
Not be confused.
They start low.
And then go.
And yeah, they're competing for a female. Who can do sweeter?
It sounds like for real. For real.
It is. It's more real than you can imagine. Hare Krishna, Jai Srimad Bhakti Asrai Dande Maharaj Ki Jai, Praneshri Didi Davidasi Ki Jai, Satyabhama and Morelia Ki Jai, Dandavat, Jamuna's mother Elena in Moscow, Dandavat, Asha Purna Devidasi, Dandavat, Seva Rupa Devidasi in South Africa, Dandavat, Pavel Brun Prabhu in Moscow, Dandavat, Bhagavan Das, Dandavat, Brajalatika. Such a beautiful name, Brajalatika, the aspiration of Uddhava, to be Brajalatika. Dandavat. Damodar Das, there with Yashodanandan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And the Abhazya Bhakta Vrinda. And Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. And the Vila Govinda Bhakta Vrinda. The Pushpa Samadhi of Srila Gurudev, Lakshmana Didi in St. Petersburg, Laktadam, Leela Sundar Prabhu in Kiev, Dandavat, Madhavi Lata in Odessa, Dandavat, Suleka in Kiev, Dandavat, Anjali in Ukraine, Dandavat, Ajita, the unconquerable, Ajita Krishna Prabhu in Tomsk, Lakshman Prabhu in Moscow, Dandavat. And Kiselni Dham, no less. Dandavat. See everybody, is there an Anjali there? Yes, Dandavat, and everyone, to everyone. Rasananda in Kiev, Dandavat. Nityananda Das is here. Sulakshana Devi is here, translating in Chinese. Pavan Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. Lakshmi Priya Didi in Kiev, Dandavat. Ananda Niketan from Altai. Where is that? Some reason that it comes to mind. Das, near Novosibirsk, I've been there. Maybe we went there. Das, Anudas, of course. Yuteshwari Didi, Dandavat. Ragaleka Didi, Dandavat. Pradeep Sigaban. Pradeep. Hare Krishna. All right, is that everyone? Gaurachandra Prabhu and Nadholka, Dandavat. Ranga Didi in Germany, Dandavat. Harinam Ananda Prabhu. Anyone else? All right. Vancha kalpadriyabhyascha kripa sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Jai.